fine menswear. So that means suiting, tuxedos, vests. You want to do overcoats, peacoats, button downs. These are the things that we felt that our culture didn't have, and at a high level, like an excellence type of level where things are luxe.
You are now part of a social experiment. See now where my limit is. Only got no ohs.
Thank you for joining us today on the journey towards self mastery. Our next guest is a native of Honduras. He's a graduate of FIT and co-owner of men's fashion company Garcon Couture, which models excellence in every thread and aims to empower the Black community economically. Garcon Couture can be seen being sported by Omarion, Joel Embiid, Kev on Stage, Felicia Ross, Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things, Omari Hardwood, and Cam Newton, who is a partner with Garcon Couture. They currently have a New York location, an Atlanta location, and a Miami location. Garcon Couture has been represented in New York Fashion Week for several years. Their unique styles have won their celebrity clients best dressed at various events. Let's welcome today co-owner of Garcon Couture, Mr. Ilbert Sanchez, to the program.
Wow, I need to clap for that one. Thank you, man. That was an amazing intro. That was an amazing intro.
Hey, man.
I'm honored and I am humbled to be here, Mr. G. I appreciate you and everything that you do.
Hey, likewise, man. Likewise. I was inspired. I actually manifested this. I want to let listeners know, because we were actually doing something in Brooklyn at a school. That's where I met Ilbert at. And I was so blown away by Garcon Couture. I didn't even see the style of the component of it, but just the education. I actually sat into the classroom that you guys were talking to the kids about, your company and dressing and everything. And I was blown away, man. And I'm like, I got to have these guys on the program, man. So, I definitely manifested it. So I'm excited to finally be able to get you on, man. I know you're a busy dude, man. So I appreciate your time, man.
It was on your short term goal list, the manifestation of
yes.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm very excited, man. To me, I just love seeing Black excellence being represented to our youth. And I think it's important and they need to see us at our best. You know what I'm saying? The media already gives them the worst. So they need us to really be there for them and give it to them at our best. And I think that's the work that you and your partner are doing with the educational process. But before we get started with the educational process, I know, some people may not be familiar with Garcon Couture. Maybe they've seen your stuff on different people, but they don't know really where it comes from and about the company. So what exactly is Garcon Couture and what can the average person expect from your brand?
A lot of it was pretty much being able to empower the Black dollar on behalf of just the culture, right? There aren't that many Black designers, let alone designers that make men's fine menswear. So that means suiting, tuxedos, vests. You want to do overcoats, peacoats, button downs. These are the things that we felt that our culture didn't have, and at a high level, like an excellence type of level where things are luxe and you're having great quality products. And me and my business partner, who was my college roommate at the time, we decided to come together and being able to create Garcon Couture. Our competitors, I don't want to say their names, but when you walk into their stores, they're throwing books at you. They're not really taking care of you, and I wanted to create a barbershop experience in the atmosphere that can give back to the culture. And this is our doings. Like if you're looking in at the history books of the biggest scientists that were of color, the educators that were of color, the environmentalists, the people that were in the entertainment industry of color, we just want to be in there for fashion of color, being able to make that big impact. And this is why you have Garcon Couture.
I hear it, man. I'm here for it, man. And, a lot of times we sporting, like you said, the competitors, and there's been competitors that have said that, like, we don't do this for Black folks. Like, we don't make clothes for y'all. Like, y'all might be rocking our gear, but it ain't for y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they are pretty straight up about that. And some of us still rock their gear. So I appreciate you putting another option out there for everybody,
Of course, man. It's a passion for us. And just being able to understand that I have a duty and obligation to provide for our people, it's become that. Now they're like, oh, no, I need to go to Garcon Couture because I'm getting married. Like, oh, my son is going to the prom next year. Like, he needs to wear Garcon Couture because it gives them some type of pride and joy to be able to have someone of color design, they're something for one of the biggest days of their lives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know you guys are really known for your unique styles, the different colors, and the fancy outfits, and fashion is something that people have different taste in, and one person might like one thing, and the other person might like something else. So for you and just Garcon Couture, the company, like what does it mean to be dressed nice, to be well dressed, and to look good? Like what is that exactly?
I feel like for me, since I've been in the 10th grade, I was in a talented 10th class, and Miss Johnson, my 10th grade teacher, always said, you have to dress to impress. So she would always be like, you have to show up how you want people to address you. So I've always had that same mentality. And as I became more mature, I just learned to adapt what styles work best for me and how I wanted people to really approach me, how I wanted them to see me once I walk into the room before I even said anything. So I took that same model and I plugged it into the concept of what is Garcon Couture, what is excellence in every thread. So when you walk into my showrooms, I'm asking you, what's your style? Like, what is it that you're about to go to? What do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel empowered? Do you want to feel excited? These are all the things that are aligned with dressing to impress, right? Dressing to how you want to be aligned. How do you want to be pretty much approached? How do you want to be spoken to? All of that stuff really matters. So I take that into heart.
Mm. Kind of like it really kind of stands out as kind of art, like you want
It
to
is. Yeah,
kind
it's
of
art. It's an art.
attach. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because a lot of people will think of fashion and dressing as something that is objective, or if a company is providing it, this is what we're doing. But you're kind of catering to the customer's needs and what they feel emotionally or what they want to get from what they dress in. So that's really interesting. The industry, the fashion industry, I don't know. Like I know you've been around a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people, and I've heard people all the time talking about, "Oh, I want to be a designer. I want to do this. I want to do that," and it's almost similar, I would say, to people saying like they want to be in the NBA and that kind of thing. Like as Black folks, we really enjoy fashion, and a lot of people think they can do it, right? But there's a whole process to that, and a lot of fashion designers end up going broke, or they just can't provide the necessary funds to kind of start up the company and things like that. So what do you think separates like people that are really serious about this work from others that just say like, yo, I want to be in fashion?
Yeah, so that's a funny thing because entrepreneurship has become trendy, believe it or not. It's become something that everyone wants to do because it may seem cool. Everyone is doing it. But you have to find the passion for it. Like you have to really ask yourself, is this something you really want to do? People only see the glitz and glamour. They only see they see the runway shows, the photo shoots. They see the celebrities wearing the clothes. They see, the clients wearing like the beautiful double-breasted, satin tuxedos, all of that stuff. They see the glitz and glamour, but behind it, it's a lot of work. You have to be thorough about it. You have to be meticulous. You have to be mindful of like just operations, payroll, your taxes. All of this stuff is a bunch of things that have nothing to do with the clothes itself, right? Fashion is cool, but there's a lot of things behind it that helps drive it, right? You have to be able to, you need capital. You can't just do this. If you're broke, this is not for you. You have to be able to find capital and you have to have a grit mentality, right? Understanding how and why you're doing this, right? You have to understand how and why you're going to get this money. And what are you going to do with that money when you get it, right? How are you going to get investors? How are you going to do your marketing, your strategies, your branding? How are you going to actually lay out the clothes? What's your message? Like fashion is cool, but behind it is so many different layers to it that people can't even imagine unless you really, really want to do this. Like, people like, do you really want to do this? Like, this is something you honestly want to do? Like basketball players live and dream. They live and eat basketball. Like they've been playing basketball for years, every single day. So are you really ready to put in those hours of
Mm,
shooting 100,000 shots a day? Like this
mm,
is the type of work ethic that you need to have in order to really break into this fashion thing.
mm. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I think it's important for for us to be realistic about our goals and understand what it takes. And a lot of times, like you say, like we don't see the behind the scenes work that's being done in order for these industries to really get out there. So that's important. Before we get into the Garcon Couture exactly, I want to really get into your story because I think it's pretty unique. So you were born in Honduras, and you are part of the Garifuna tribe. So I was a little curious about your tribe and what it means to be black in Honduras. And then I know in other interviews you talked about when you transitioned into the United States, you had an identity crisis. So can you walk us through like
Hmm.
Honduras and then coming into the United States and then being able to be comfortable in yourself and
I
finding
actually want to say
yourself?
thank you for just being able to say it right and also doing research within that. That means a lot for me because my culture is who and what I represent. That's like one of the biggest things of why I do what I do and how I move, how I move. So the Garifuna people are in Arawak, Indian, and Afro Caribbean, right? And we exiled from St. Vincent. We got exiled from St. Vincent, and we ended up in the outskirts of Central America. And if you have North America, then you have South America, and in the middle of that, Central America, right? So in Central America, you have Guatemala, you have
Hmm.
Nicaragua, you have Belize, and you have Honduras. Those those countries are all this Garifuna people that got exiled. We got dropped off there, and then my people, um, through my ancestors, we ended up in Honduras, right? So my first language is actually Spanish. I have to learn English coming to America, but I speak Spanish because Honduras is that's Spanish is the native language of Honduras, Spanish, right? But I'm Garifuna. So the Garifuna people, we speak Garifuna, that's our dialect, right? And we also eat Garifuna food. So a lot of our foods that we eat is like island food, Caribbean food. So we're gonna have a lot of fish stew, lobster. We're gonna have crabs, fish, plantains, rice, coconut. So these are the things that is a lot of it is based off of like Nigerian, Yoruba, all of that type of the connection within that, right? And this is how you get the Garifuna people. But fast forward to like me coming to America, I was about 6, 7 years old, and identifying myself as a Hispanic man or black man was a confusion that I just really didn't understand until I became mature enough to understand there's a difference and there's still similarities within that, meaning that you can be black and still be of Hispanic, be Hispanic. So these are the things that I had to understand because growing up in the South Bronx in New York, it was more so like it's either you're Spanish or it's either you're black. Pick one or the other. And I think that how just generations there's I remember being young calling the Africans people will call the Africans the African booty scratchers, or as I got older they would be like the Haitians would come. I didn't meet a Haitian until I was in like maybe high school, and I feel like they was always around, but people never really represented who they were, where they were from. So that's the same way with me. I was just like, yo, I really don't know. Like, I know I'm from Honduras, but I don't really know exactly where I'm from outside of Honduras. So as I got older, I started to
Mm.
understand, no, I'm Garifuna. Like, no, you go way back to like Africa, like Nigeria and all of that stuff. So being able to actually do the research, and as I started to do the research, I became more prideful of how I would move and how I will show up as a black man in this country. And as I started to do more research, that's when I started to be like, I need to create a youth program to be able to give back and educate the youngsters to be able to understand that they're probably lost just how I was lost as well. So these are the things I could speak about this for like hours, just being able to find me adapting to like just the just to the American culture. The American culture, even to this day, sometimes I'd be like, this is just different. And as Americanized as they would say I am, I still have so much, just being Honduran, me being Garifuna, so much of that I have within that. And being able to just take pride in like where I'm from, right? Being able to navigate. I came here during the crack epidemic. It was a lot of blood. The Bloods and the Crips was around. Um, it was just so different, from Honduras. And I don't, that's what keeps me humble, just being able to know where I come from, and all of the success that I've had has been because I've been grounded amongst, all of the craziness that's around me, but understanding where I come from.
Mm. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So why FIT for college, and what was the experience like when you got there?
Right. So why FIT? I just like to do things at a high level, and FIT was the top art school in the country. That's pretty much it. I Googled was the best art schools in the
Mm.
country because I'm a graphic design major. I went to school.
Did you have an idea what you wanted to do
I've always
before like getting
I've
into
always
FIT?
Yeah, in high school, I was a graphic design major, so I was one of the best graphic designers in high school. And then when I got to my first college, was the SUNY Global School, which was upstate by Albany. That was my first college, and I was like one of the top graphic designers there. And I've never taken one class. I've never taken 1 hour of fashion. Everything has been just graphic design, right? So, um, I was like, let me Google what are the best art schools in the country, and Parsons came up. A few like art schools in Chicago came up, some schools in Florida came up, some schools in LA came up, but FIT was at the top. And I was like, no, I need to get it. I need to get into the best art school. And I got into FIT, and I graduated with a bachelor in fine arts, studying communication design and also graphic design. So I'm class of 2011 from FIT, and that school was not easy to get to. It was not easy to graduate. It was not easy to navigate through the projects. It was really intense, but it prepared me for corporate America for the 7 years that I was corporate America. But I still use those skills to this day as an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir. I try to ask all the artists that I speak to about this question here. Um, do you think that art imitates life, or does life imitate art?
Do I think that's if this art imitates life or life imitates art? That's a good question. How do I answer that question? I'm still thinking about how. That's a really good question. Life imitates art. I think art imitates life. I think because life is nonstop, right? But art can be created from scratch, and art can stop. Like I can create something and then it can stop, and it's like this is it'll be a standstill picture. I can make you a suit, right, and it'll be a standstill. Like your suit, you can wear it and then you put it back in the closet. You can't put away you can't put away your life. You can't stop your life. But I think
Mm,
there's a vulnerability to art in its sense that you can caress a piece of art, and then you can put it on the wall, you can talk about it, you can sit down and look at it, and then just me and you could look at one piece and have two different perspectives of it. But when it comes to life, I think life is more tender, and it's nonstop at the same time. It's like as we're speaking now, today, tomorrow is a whole new day. But if we're creating something right now as an art piece, tomorrow it would be there the same as it was yesterday. You know, that's just the way I look at it
mm,
just now as I'm thinking about it. And art is so precious to me because it's something where it's like whatever you look at it, whatever you create, it's from you, and it cannot be duplicated from anyone else because it's you who's doing it.
yes, sir. Well said, man. Well said. All right. So you started off with streetwear, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, things like that.
You did,
Walk
right?
us through that process and why why you decided to transition and do a pretty much a 180. I mean, like streetwear versus
Yeah,
professional business gear and wedding things and suits is a 180 from streetwear. So what
yeah.
led to that decision? Because you had some success. You had celebrities rocking your gear and stuff like that. Like, why did you transition?
For me, it was never. I never doubted my success levels at all. It was more so of like what could stand the test of time, like what makes more sense 10, 20 years from now. As we know, streetwear can be trendy. If you think about back in the days of Damon John, Mark Echo, Fubu, Mark Echo, Academics, Vasquez, Mecca, and Nietzsche. It was this Pepe jeans, like this is things that were trendy, those are the top streetwear brands in the country, well, and I'm like, yo,
Mm,
I did apparel at the time, and I'm like, no, like I don't want to end up like them. I don't want to end up like a or like they used to be nice. Like they used to be okay. Like I want people to be like, no, they're still standing strong. Like I still want to stand strong. And when it comes to fine menswear, someone is always going to need a suit. Someone is always going to need a tuxedo. Someone's always going to need a peacoat. Like someone's always going to need a button down shirt. Everyone goes to church. Everyone goes to
mm,
funerals. Everyone goes to, it's just so many things where you're always going to need a black suit, a blue suit, a navy blue. So like these things are not trendy. These are things that are classic, that are traditional type of things. And I wanted to be in that lane, and that'll separate me from those where the have beens.
that makes sense. That makes sense. So what was it that encouraged you to kind of take a leap of faith, because you went into this like kind of full time and quit your job to go into Garcon Couture?
because I'm just cocky like that. I'm just like I don't doubt I don't doubt my success levels. Like I have the grit for it. Like you put anything in front of me, I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna make it happen. You know, for me, it was more so like, all right, how can I pay my bills?
Mm,
As soon as I figured that out, I was like, I'm going 100%. You know, at the time, I didn't have a wife, I didn't have a kid. You know, so for me, it was more so like, all right, I have rent, I have school loans, and I have a little bit of like phone, light bills, little stuff like that. I'm like, what can I do on the side? Because I'm a graphic designer, I can still do websites, I can do logos, I can do little flyers here and there just to keep me on my toes. But everything else, I'm gonna stop the brunching. I'm gonna stop the random dates. I'm gonna stop the going out for drinks. I'm gonna stop the little trips. I just sacrificed a lot within like those first 2 years to be able to actually sit down and like build the company from scratch. And as it continued to build, it grow.
mm.
Then it was able to like run on its own. Where it was like, all right, I see the income coming. Now I can go back slowly to like the life that I would like to have.
Did you have like a number in mind? Like once we hit this, I'm gonna tell them I'm out. Like I'm done with work. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm doing this full time.
I didn't. For me, it was more so the company was we launched in November. Yeah, my birthday when I turned 30. We launched 2017 November, and I quit my job that February. Yeah, I quit my job February, and I was like,
Mm,
because I was like, I need to run the company full time. Like, if clients are looking for us, I can't tell them, oh, I'm at work. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna come measure you after. It just didn't work like that. Especially people are getting married. You know, I was like, no, I need to do this full time, and I need to do the sacrifice in order for this to really take off. So it was more so of like you have to understand like your time
mm,
and like what your clients need, and they were able to see me any time of the day. Well, you know, I had the boundaries, but it would be like pretty much business work hours and Saturdays as well, and that's really what separated us from everyone
mm.
else.
Interesting. So I know you believe in the 10,000 hour rule and mastery and all that. You mentioned that you didn't have a lot of knowledge of fashion in the industry and things like that. You were doing your stuff with graphic design. What did those 10,000 hours look like for you, learning about the different fabrics and what people like to wear and colors and all that stuff? Like, what did behind the scenes look like for you to really have mastery of this field?
For me, it was more so of like being humble, right, and having the humility to understand that you don't know everything and knowing everything, thinking I know everything graphic design. I was like, oh, okay. How hard could it be for fashion? But fashion was a whole different thing. Being able to understand people's proportions and bodies, being able to understand what's the difference between a brocade fabric and a satin fabric, understanding like this the stitching process because I don't stitch, but I had to learn how a suit is built from scratch. You know, having pattern makers, you know, understanding what buttons go where, and like just like the style of fits, like the history of it. These are things that I really was like, oh, this is something. It felt like I was learning a new language, you know. But for me, it was like, all right, I gotta fail. I like let me just fail. Well, for me, it's like failing isn't a negative thing for me. It was more so of like if I fail one time, I'm not gonna fail two times. And when I would try putting on suits on certain people, it was a mistake, and I was like, cool, I got you next time. And it was one of those things where I just kept on pushing myself and getting better, getting better, and getting better, and having the understanding to having the fortitude to be able to adapt myself in any situation. If it's a guy who's 6'8", 250, or a baby that's like 6 months, you know, or a woman. It was more so of like just being able to be versatile within all of those different structures and body types. And I already knew how to style. So styling someone wasn't hard. It was more so of like understanding what fabric works best for them and what look work best for them. So those 10,000 hours plus, and I'm still learning to this day, I did not take it for granted because I was like, all right, this is not something that I can't play with. You know, if I was doing websites before. If I do a website and something is wrong, no one's going to be embarrassed. I can just go back there and fix it. But if I put a suit on somebody and it doesn't look good, they're going to be embarrassed. You know, so these are the things that I had to be mindful of because now it's an emotional game. It's a psychology type of game where people want to feel good, people want to feel empowered, and they want to feel like they want to feel their best. And that's my job on a day-to-day basis.
Well said. Well said. Well said. What were you learning along the way about business with Garcon Couture? Because, like you mentioned too, like a lot of designers don't know the business background component of doing the work as opposed to just having the, the clothing and being the styles and stuff like that. So what were some of the, I guess, the most impactful lessons that you learned about business as you guys are growing the company? You mentioned that a lot of designers are not very business savvy and they don't know the behind the scenes in terms of outside of the fashion, just the business component. So what were some valuable lessons that you learned about business to get Garcon Couture to where it is now?
So they were like, you got to understand like this operations, right? You got to understand customer service stuff. You got to understand, for example, for like the 2017, 2018 was like us like just climbing charts. People didn't know about us as that. But 2019 was the year that people started to know about us a lot more. And we didn't have a customer service person. So what that means is that if we're getting about 40 people making appointments a week, right? That means it's about like 40 plus orders a week. And it was difficult because we are just like a 3-man team at the time. And clients started to complain about customer service. They was like, you never pick up the phone. You forgot to do this. You haven't sent me the invoice for this. So our operations wasn't intact. So during the pandemic, I actually took a class. I took it's called Goldman Sachs 10K class, right? So what that means was that this program was an intense program for like 2.5 months, and they helped me just 10x my company, and they helped me being able to adapt operations team, right? Being able to add a customer service person, an assistant, being able to add on like certain services that we need that we never knew we needed, right? So understanding how to speak with your lawyers, understanding how to speak with your CFO, understanding how to read a P&L chart, which is a profit and loss statement. So that's what, like, you see like how much money you lost, how much money you gain, what percentage you're growing, what percentage you're not growing, where did you lose money, where all the money's coming in, coming out from. So these are all the stuff that we had to learn in order for the company to be where it's at now, like having a strong operations. That's like the biggest thing, having a strong operations and having a good team around you to be able to see numbers. But as you can see, none of this have to do with fashion. All of this is just like straight logistics, which is key in like success of a company.
So part of the fashion component of everything too is being able to deal with like big events and doing things like that. So you all have been doing Fashion Week for years, New York Fashion Week, which is designer's dream to do New York Fashion Week. And a designer has told me like it costs a lot of money to even be able to do Fashion Week and everything. And then you obviously do other things as well. You guys just did the ESPYs and you were there with Cam Newton and everything. What exactly does it take to be able to pull Fashion Week and these high level events off as a designer?
Yeah, so I hate doing Fashion Week. Fashion Week is exhausting, it's intense. The revenue, the profit margins doesn't make sense. It just never connects better. You just never whatever you're paying for Fashion Week is never, at least from my experience, I've never gotten it back or even more, not even close. So where you usually get invited
Mm.
to Fashion Week events, doing a Fashion Week from scratch we've never done because that's just a lot of money that we don't have, and we'd rather use that in ad dollars or like inventory or payroll. I think that the experience with us when we're doing Fashion Week has been cool. Like, you get to show your looks, but people are not trying to purchase stuff right there and then. They just want to sit down in the front row and look cute and clap and do all this stuff. For me, I just never been a fan of that being in this. Um, the biggest thing for us is doing photo shoots and like doing marketing events and branding. But a fashion week sounds cool, but it's just for as designers, it's just intense. It's exhausting. You have to deal with models, makeup, hair, logistics, operations, and it's just and clothes. It's just so much stuff that can go wrong. That has been going wrong. That can go wrong. We had 3 models the day of the fashion week cancel on us. Somebody was sick. Somebody had COVID. Another person couldn't miss his flight. Like, it's just something that always could go wrong. And it's like, all right, we have this clothes now. What are we gonna do with it? Because it fit you perfectly. So now what are we gonna do? We gotta find music for it. So it's just a bunch of stuff. So we find other ways to brand and market ourselves, like the SBs, like Cam Newton. He's our partner, and it's like, all right, Cam is gonna. How can we strategize this the best way possible? He's gonna host the red carpet. He's gonna be on TV. So what are we gonna, we're gonna put him in one of our suits. He's gonna wear one of our pins, and this is how people can see us all over the world. So these are just little things where we try to find for like free marketing type of thing that just makes more sense than doing a fashion show.
Mm. Got it. So speaking of Cam Newton, you guys have been very successful at getting celebrities to kind of wear your clothes, and I would feel that's a designer's dream to be able to have somebody like Cam Newton and a lot of these celebrities that you've had to market your brand and win best dress and all these type of things. So, is there like a secret sauce to attracting celebrities to what it is that you're doing and to get that type of attention?
Great question. Is there a secret sauce? No, man. I think is being genuine, being authentic, just being different. Being different within um our own jurisdictions. Like I make suits. There's 100 other people that make suits in America. You know, and it's like, how are you different? How do you separate yourself from everyone else? And how do you show up genuine? How do you show up authentic? How do you show up willing to be able to listen and also open minded? That's just like the best thing, the best advice I can give anybody.
Mm, thank you for that. So I was talking to somebody that could have been a potential business partner, and I was telling him about MasterMine, the things that I'm doing and stuff like that. And when he heard that my target audience was Black folks, he was like, "Yo, what you're doing is great, but focusing on Black people as a target audience is business suicide. It doesn't work." You know what I'm saying? And that was that. And he's a high level, person. I'm not gonna say his name, but that was that. So it really got me thinking, like in regards to I didn't believe what he was saying, you know what I'm saying? But I understood where he was coming from because he was saying that, you got to involve other people, other cultures into what you're doing. It can't just be focused on Black people because Black people are unreliable when it comes to business. And it was really interesting. So, from somebody who's having success actually marketing to Black people for your fashion brand, what are your thoughts on that? And what do you think about like that mind state that we can't support each other and we won't be able to have success in business if it's Black focus?
So when you walk into my showroom, my New York showroom, you look up on the wall, you'll see a Honduran flag, you see a Garifuna flag, represents me. You'll see a Haitian flag, represents my business partner. You'll see a Trini flag, represents my stylist, both of my stylists. I have two, I have male stylist and female stylist, right? Then you'll see a African American flag that represents the people that are of color, that are Black Americans that walk through the door. Then you see a Nigerian flag, represents Africa. Our brand ambassador, he's from Africa, from Nigeria. So this is everybody from literally from the African diaspora that's helped build the company. That's everybody in my payroll. That's people who walk through the door. So I don't agree with what he said. I get his point, but I've I'm living proof that 95% of my clients are from the African diaspora, like 95%, right? The We have other clients that are from other places, which is fine. We don't close doors for them, but the examples that they show us that they want to dress like it's like us. They show us photos of people who look like us. Like, I want this tux, this suit, and it's somebody from the African diaspora. So I cater to them. That's like priority to us, because if we don't cater to, if this think about it like this, if if a fashion company of color doesn't cater to people of color, what fashion company is going to cater to them? Like, is it going
Mm,
to be the competitors like that aren't of color? And how would they know what you want if you guys don't come from the same, from the same understandings and the same beliefs and the same work ethics, or understand, like, just being able, not the same work ethics because everybody has different work ethics, but just more the morality of that, like us being of color, like we have things that we're facing, that we face, that we felt, that we experienced within our history and our ancestry, so
hmm
how could, if there's no Garcon Couture, who's going to cater to y'all? If there's companies like, if there aren't companies like us, like who's going to be able to actually build that? I wanted to have a barbershop experience, but for clothes, and I built that. You know, um, I don't know. It's just
hmm
that's really hard to believe. That's really hard to understand. I get him, but it's really hard to really like get that in mind for it to make sense because been I've proved it that I can work, and even with the modern day man, like I cater to kids of color. My partner is from Ghana. So these are all of the things where it's like it just works. I've proven it in multiple different type of perspectives.
I wholeheartedly agree, and
Like
I did tell him like, yo, I wholeheartedly disagree with you, and
yeah,
good
yeah.
luck, man, because I'm trying to do this here for Black folks, and
We have
obviously other
earned
people can come
it's
along. Like we're not denying anybody, but
yeah, it's so many companies also earn your leisure.
what'd
You
you
know,
say?
the company Earn Your Leisure, the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's so many other companies that are just
Hmm.
just men of color. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you've climbed Mount Everest. I would feel like as a designer, like people might see you guys at the peak of the mountain right now, where you are looking down at the accomplishments, and you're getting, Cam Newton is rocking Garcon Couture. He loves y'all. He talking about y'all. He's a partner. You're getting all these celebrities getting best dressed, rocking Garcon Couture. You got all these weddings and things happening. You're in the school, so a lot of people would say like you have had a lot of success, right? So when you have that quick kind of success as a business, how do you continue to motivate yourself to continue growing and to want more and to continue doing more without being satisfied and plateauing?
So the thing about everyone defines success differently. So that's very relative. But I don't think we're close to the mountaintop at all. At all. I think that there's so much more work to do.
Mm,
And when I get there, there's still going to be much more work to do. Like, I don't think I'll be satisfied. It's more so of like enjoying the process. There's joy and beauty in just finding value in just living in the process, like building the building stages. We're still building. Like I'm enjoying that. Like when it's like tough times, when it's good times, I'm still enjoying that because I'm gonna retire from this one day. But I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna look at the times where we were just struggling or finding to do this and like finding customers or finding locations to sell from or like finding ad spaces. All this stuff is things that we're gonna look back at, and it's like there's joy in just finding no, there's a skill in finding joy in the buildup. And I'm still in building stages. Like I don't think we're close to being at the mountaintop. There's still over billion people who don't know who we are. So unless we get to the stage where I don't have to introduce myself, then like I'm not Ralph Lauren yet. I'm not on that level. So it's like there's still so much work to do and we're not even close to it. And as I continue to grow, there's gonna be bigger things in my goal. My goal is
got you, got you.
like the Olympics is going
So
on right now.
fashion to me is very interesting. Good, good.
No, so the Olympics is going on right now, and it's like until I see Simone Biles wearing Garcon Couture, leotards, like these are the things that come to mind. Or like if I don't see like Delta Airlines wearing Garcon Couture, like it's like these are the stuff that it's like that's the level that I want to get to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, with men's fashion, like specifically, I feel like sometimes men's fashion gets accused of being overly feminine, um, depending on what they're wearing. Like, some men they have these handbags now that look like purses almost to me, a little bit. I don't know. And some people feel like the tight clothes sometimes is a little feminine, and certain styles that are not as masculine and this and that and the third. Like, do you look at any of that kind of stuff, or do you think fashion is just it's whatever? Like, there's no male female fashion trend. This is like a guy can wear a skirt and be okay. Like, what exactly as far as men's fashion is like okay and not okay in your view? Because I see so many different things, and sometimes I scratch my head, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't, I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean?
I scratch my head for stuff as well, especially when I look at an award show. Um, I feel like fashion is cool, but it's more so like understanding what your style is. Understanding style is much more for me prevalent than understanding what fashion is because fashion a lot of it is just to be able to create moments. When you have style, you understand where you look the best in, and um, I don't take away anybody who feels like they can wear something If you feel it looks good, it looks good. But if I feel it looks trash, I'm gonna be like, that looks trash. But just like when you said about the art and life question, it's like that's art to them. So that's the way they wanted to create their art. So that's how they create it. And I don't take anything away from anybody. It's more so of like when someone tries to take away my style and it's like my thing. It's like, no, I think this looks fire. So I'm aware like this because I think this is fire. So it's more so of like, how do you define it within yourself? And there's a lot of things that I do not like at all. Like, I don't like the wide leg pants. I'm not a fan of like the blazers that they have a bunch of straps here. There's just things that I just would never wear in a million years, but people wear it and they get credit for it. They get credibility for it. So it's to each its own. But for me, I like to keep it chic. I'm a classic guy. Lux, just like real clean cut. That's just my style right now at the moment. It could change, but that's just my style right now.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Agreed. 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 All right. So I want to get into just a quick your opinion on. I know you dress people for many different occasions. Just is there a go-to fit for the different occasions? So I'm going to ask you just your opinion, go-to fit, go-to colors, or whatever. Common things people dress up for. So we'll start with graduation, right? Let's say high school, college graduation. Is there a go-to type of fit or something you would recommend?
For graduation, you want to wear a suit. You want to wear, if depending on your body type, if you like athletic build or slim build, I would always recommend a double breasted. But if you got a little chubby, you want to do a single breasted suit. But you want to do a suit. If the graduation is in the summertime, you can do a suit with a t-shirt or a suit with a button up with some nice sneakers or a shoe, a dress shoe. Same thing for like high school, college graduation, the same exact thing.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Any colors? Any colors go, or
It
how do
all
you do with
depends
the
on
colors?
it all depends on your skin color, what color you're most comfortable wearing, what color the cap and gown, what color the school colors, all of that stuff depends.
Hmm. So what do you think looks good on dark skin?
We wear any color. Any color is good for us.
All
Any color is good for
right,
us.
all right,
It's good for us.
all right, all right. Hit me up with prom night. Prom night. What am I
How you
looking
want
at?
to wear tuxedo? You want to wear tuxedo? You're not gonna wear those shoes that everybody's always wearing. That the they got the high heels. I forgot. I always forget the name of it because I just tired of them, sick of them. But you want to wear a tuxedo shoe, patent leather shoe. You want to wear, well, depending on your prom date, if you have a date, but you want to wear tuxedo. You do not want to wear a suit. You want to wear something that's depending on if the weather, the location of, if it's in Miami, the weather's a lot warmer. But if it's, well, it's not, because prom is usually in a hot time, but it all depends. But usually you want to wear tuxedo. And it depends on your style. It can be a double breasted, it can be a single breasted. You can have a black tux, you can have a navy blue tux, a royal blue tux. You want to have a tux with brocade fabric, jacquard fabric with texture. You want to wear solid pants. Everyone is totally different because everyone has different styles, different body types, and things that they're comfortable with.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Hit me up with a job interview.
Job interview, you want to wear navy blue, gray, or a black suit. That's it. You want to wear a white button up, a white crisp shirt is always the best. Tie is optional if you're doing something corporate America heavy based, and I would say yes, wear a tie. But if you want to do like, if you're doing like tech is like no tie. If you wanna if it's like entertainment, then I would say go with like a yellow or royal blue or like a different color suit color because entertainment. You want to have more of a vibrant color. But when it comes to corporate America or like medicine, you want to stick in the navy blue, gray, or black.
Got it. Got it. All right. A business event.
Like a mixer type of thing.
Yeah, like something that like something that dressed to impress, kind of. Everybody's gonna be dressed up at the business event.
Like a gala type of thing, a business gala.
Yeah, like let's say you dressing for an award show
Oh yeah, an award show.
or a
So you want to
celebration dinner or something like that.
wear a black double-breasted tuxedo with a black satin lapel, with a bow tie. If you don't want to wear a tuxedo, you can wear a suit. You want to wear a royal blue suit, a pinstripe navy blue suit with a double Windsor tie knot with a white pocket square, and you could really go crazy with that. If you want to do a tuxedo, you want to do a black tuxedo, you want to do a navy blue tuxedo, you can even do like a gray tuxedo. It all depends on like your style and then like just like your body type.
Okay, okay. What about if I got a court date? For
Court
you
date,
know.
blue, gray, or black. That's it.
So kind of same thing as a job interview.
Exactly. Yep.
Got it. Got it. All right. Obviously, I got to get into wedding.
Oh, wedding. It all depends on where the wedding is. What are the wedding colors? What color your wife or your partner dresses or suit is, right? Also, it depends on just like what your style is. A lot of times, guys are coming in there ivory suit, white suit, black pants, royal blue suit, white pants. It depends if it's overseas. If it's in the wintertime, you may get your browns or your oranges, but it all depends on the wedding colors.
Got it. Got it. Appreciate that. So outside of those things, are there other events that you would like recommend dressing up or having professional attire for?
No, it's all the same. A lot of the stuff is pretty much the same. The biggest thing is understanding the client's style and like the location of it is and who's going to be around you.
Mm, got it. Got it. All right. So outside of Garcon Couture, you have modern day man that you are implementing pretty much curriculum into schools and doing activities with young men and things like that. So can you walk us through modern day man, why it exists, and kind of the mission that you're trying to accomplish in these schools?
Yeah, so the modern day man existed because me and my partner Ed Van Ness found out that there's just so many gaps in the school educational system where these young kids are lost. They don't have proper ways to really pretty much um, navigate through their the young stages into like manhood, right? And it's like how can we help them? How can we help navigate the adolescent stages into like the man stages? What are like the life hacks that we know that we learned that we could teach them ahead of time? What are the things that they're just not getting in school that we can provide for them? So we have affirmations, manifestations, the four agreements. We have creating the positive mindset. We have hygiene, grooming, how to iron, dinner etiquette, social media boundaries, being able to how are you dating, financial literacy, social emotional learning. There's just a wide range of just a holistic perspective that we wanted to provide, bring to the table, to be able to just have them ready for the next stages in their lives. The
Yeah,
modern
it's
day
a
man.
beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. Do you guys have a curriculum like in place?
Yeah, we have
That
a
and
we have
then
a 6 to 12 week curriculum, and right now we're in about like 25 schools right now.
yeah, it's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. What would you say like are most things that young people kind of don't really know about? Kind of the things that you're implementing. Because what was interesting to me too at the schools, I noticed like you guys do like how to spray cologne and different things like that. Like, what are you finding that our young men are not really understanding anymore when it comes to like just being a man, cleanliness, whatever? Like, what do you see some of the things that are really impactful that you're teaching that needs to be done?
Just being able to be vulnerable and understanding that vulnerability is not a weakness. That's like one of the biggest things. And we asked them, is it okay to cry? We asked them, how do you define a real man? A lot of them just have different opinions within that. And a lot of it comes from just toxic masculinity. It comes from culture back at home, the history of like where you from, where you grew up. And nowadays it's just changed. Like men could cry. Men can hug another man. Like these are things that they weren't comfortable with before they with us, and then we gave them the tools and why you should be comfortable doing that and why there's power in that.
Mm, very, very powerful, man. All right, before we wrap up, I want to play a quick game here called What's Your Favorite? Just identifying a few of your favorite things. So you can keep it short and simple, or you can elaborate if you want. All right. What was the favorite outfit you wore in grade school? And then your favorite outfit as an adult?
My favorite outfit I wore in grade school. I used to wear this Jordan. Grade school is like could be high school too, right?
Yeah, like K through 12. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I was in 10th, 11th grade, my uncle gave me his navy, his nines, his patent leather nines. They was like white and navy blue, and he also gave me like a navy blue Jordan sweatsuit. I wore that like every other day. Fire, fire fit.
Dope. What about as an adult? Is there anything? I know you rock a lot of different gear. So,
And those all my stuff is fire. I could wear my favorite fit is every day. So I don't know. Every day is different.
cool, cool. What's your favorite color to wear?
My favorite color to wear is red.
All right. Any reason?
Um, because I'm a Kappa of Opportunity Incorporated.
Ah, there
I've
it
always
is.
been towards red since I was young. So yeah,
All right. Favorite event that you've dressed somebody for?
favorite event that I've dressed somebody for. That's a great question. I've dressed some people. SP's, I guess. Cam, what I put in Cam, SP's was fire. He had a brown double breasted shawl lapel suit, and he it was so many people he interviewed, and it was like they all got to see the fit. They was all complimenting him on the fit.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I actually saw that. That was definitely a dope fit. Um, all right, all right, all right. Favorite piece of business advice anybody has given you?
Favorite piece of business advice anyone has given me. People always give me business advice. Um, Being able to understand what your operations are, right? And understanding how everything works. So what that means is if you have someone who's a CFO, you should be able to understand everything they're doing. If you have someone in customer service, you should understand what are the things that they're doing. So you know every step. So I place you in that position. Can you run that position full time?
Mm, got it, got it. Favorite book you ever read? I know you were a heavy reader.
Yeah. The Alchemist. The Alchemist is one of my favorite.
Oh,
And also The Alchemist is what drove me to the type of man that I am today. And the Four Agreements is the life hacks that I use on a day to day basis.
yeah, I think we have the same book taste, man, because those are like part of my top five right there.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
All right. Favorite experience or teaching moment that you've had with a student?
Yeah. I have a lot of those. There was, so usually we have grounding. So we have like, whenever we with the kids, we give them house rules. The house rules are, um, there isn't a dumb question. Don't take things personal. Um, don't make fun of anybody. We don't tolerate making fun of kids. Being able to actually understand that there's this 100% safe space, right? And I heard the principal this is a fifth graders, and the principal when he came into school, they was like, "You got to talk to the boys because they was acting out yesterday." So I was like, "All right, cool." We walked into the class, and everybody started walking, and I'm like, "What happened? What happened, kids?" And then they was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I heard what happened," and didn't really hear what happened, but they knew like they knew they thought that I knew everything. So I'm like, "What happened?" And they started to get up one by one, because we speak about being accountable for each other, and then being a man, being a modern day man comes with accountability and just being able to just say what you did wrong. So they started to get up one by one. They was like, "Yeah, I threw out this thing I threw out the paper out the window, and I shouldn't have done that because somebody would have got hurt." And then another one was like, "Yeah, me and him, well, we fought because he said something to my mother and all of that stuff." Another one was like, "Yeah, um, I like spit at the wall because I was pissed." And he was like, "Because I didn't know how to control my emotions, and you told us that it shouldn't go, so we apologize." They were just being accountable for everything, and and it means that they're learning something. It just at the moment it didn't connect with them, but the next day it connected with them for them to be like, "All right, I'm not doing that again." That's like one of the biggest moments.
That's dope, man. That's dope. That's dope. And our kids definitely need that, man. I mean, they're humans. They're gonna have moments, but they definitely need that to be able to reflect on those things and improve
Yeah.
it for next time. So that's definitely dope work. I know you're into movies. Favorite movie or movies?
Oh, favorite movies. Boomerang is my favorite one. Um, Paid in Full, Interstellar, Harlem Nights, and Butterfly Effect.
Dope, dope.
Yeah,
Fire movies right there. All right. Favorite life gem that anybody has given you?
favorite life gem. It's so many life gems, and it's like what I've taken too from like watching videos. Not that someone has given me, but also I want to include that of like what I've seen on social media. But I think a lot of it has been being able to be present within life, right? So life has so many ups and downs. It's a roller coaster every time. But it's like just being present and finding joy, and regardless of what it is. It's easier said than done, but just being able to ground yourself amongst all of the chaos of life, to be able to just find joy in wherever you are. Find joy wherever you are. Wherever you're going up or down, just find joy in that. That'll take much more of what life is about. It's not always about chasing the bag or chasing this woman or like chasing this type of goal. It's like finding joy in wherever you are.
Mm, that is definitely one to remember right there. Speaking of finding joy where you are, when we're looking at legacy, when it's all said and done, what is it that you want the legacy of Garcon Couture to be? And then what is it that you want the legacy of Ilbert Sanchez to be?
Yeah. So the legacy of gospel tour I wanted to be is like being able to. We made such a big impact on the black dollar, and we've just over millions of people all over the world, the universe, and we made them feel at their best at every moment. And that's what I want the legacy to be like. And for me, I want my legacy to people to know that I've always was big on building community and being able to give back. For me, it's community and giving back, and just know that I was big hearted and I'm big hearted. That I was always willing to give somebody something off my back because of just the impact that I can make for them.
Dope, dope, dope. I see it, man. I see it. So before we leave off, what is new with Garcon Couture right now? Where are you guys going? And then how can people, find you, support,
What
and
is
get clothing and things like
right now?
that?
There's nothing new with Glasgow Tour right now. We're just trying to work on the fall and winter time. Our pins, our signature pins are blowing up. I don't know if you've seen the pins that we have, but that's what's been going. I'm trying to make that into like a diamond type of thing for my grooms. And what you can look for in the future is just being able to just create more styles and have things on the website that just looks better.
Dope, dope. And maybe in the future we can have a mastermind line for Garcon Couture. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a dream. I got to manifest, man. You
Sure.
know.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So, Ilbert, I appreciate your time, man. I know you are super busy doing amazing things. So
Appreciate
thank you for giving me some time today, man. And before we wrap up, can you leave us with your favorite quote and what it means to you?
My favorite quote is by Jay-Z, part of my language. It's fucker let the fish burn. Red or green pill, you live or you learn.
And what does that mean to you?
For me, it's more so of like sometimes it is what it is. Like whatever happens, and you learn from that. And whichever route you take, you're gonna be fine with, regardless of what it is. And you got to go with whatever pill you choose. But once you're there, you're there. Don't look back and just keep pushing.
There it is. There it is, man. So many gems today, man. Ilbert, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate the gems, the wisdom, and being inspired by, the work that you guys are doing with Garcon Couture. Hopefully, I'm gonna stack up my pennies and maybe one day I'll be able to get me a suit or two from Garcon Couture. I really love the designs, and I want to really at some point in life be able to get cop something from y'all. And I'm excited to see the continual growth and where you go, man.
Got you, brother. Thank you, man. I thank you. I appreciate the love, the support, and just doing such well research, man. I'm really impressed. And I continuous blessings on the mastermind. You are a gem. So continue doing it, brother.
Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. We just getting started, man. Ilbert is definitely going to be assisting us with some of the education that we got going on at Mastermind University. So he's definitely tapping in. And check him out if you got a wedding going on, something that you need, to get your guys dressed up for, prom, whatever it is, Garcon Couture. Why go to another brand when we got us doing the work, man? We got to support each other, support Black businesses, support Black excellence. And of course, remember, your mind is the most powerful tool in the universe. If you can think it, you can do it. If you believe in it, you can be it. And if you fight for it, you can have it. The world is yours. This has been your host, Mr. G, and I will see you next time on Mastermind. All right. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you, man, for asking. Appreciate that, brother.
Yes, sir. If you could do me one last favor, like a quick soundbite, if you could just say, this is Ilbert Sanchez of Garcon Couture, and you are listening to Mastermind. Whenever you're ready.
This is Ilbert J. Sanchez of Garçon Couture, and you're listening to Mastermind.
So every day I'm going hard. I'm talking business, bank accounts, and credit cards. And somehow we defeat the odds and making sure that no one starves illegal or you had it.